Hello, everybody. This is Malfaro here with BearishBulls, and today I have an updated video, or I guess this is my first video on the S&P 500 using the index ETF SPY. And I have a lot to go over, and I'll try to get through it as quickly as possible so that we can have a great trading week. So, to start off, I've noticed that there is a trading range on the downward movement from here. This is literally the start of September all the way down, probably around here. And if you've noticed, it's pretty wide, right around here. And we've had some support on this 324, 325 area. So we are seeing a potential reversal. If we can break above this downward trend line, we can definitely gap up to where the 50-day moving average is on the one-day chart. So that's one thing that I'm noticing. And with the news of potential stimulus and the bank stress test and earnings reports coming out just around the corner, this could potentially increase volatility in the market. But I'm favoring it to the upside. I am fairly bullish, mainly because of how much we underperformed in the past month. And as you can see, we found great support at the 100-day moving average, which is a really good sign. And I mean, we really reversed. And I'm not sure if I ever went over this before, but usually 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks before a quad witching, and for those of you who don't know what a quad witching is, it's when futures, options, some stocks, and other types of securities expire. Their contracts end up expiring. And about 2 weeks before, as we can see right here, we have a major sell off. And the quad witching happened, I believe, the third Friday. So, I mean, if we look at right, it occurred right around here. And usually when it happens, we have consolidation with some downside risk, which is what we've seen here, and then a potential reversal to the upside. And about 2 to 3 weeks before, we had a sell off. And if history is right, it happened here. The quad witching was around here, and then we had consolidation and we moved upward, but we sold off. It happened again. This was due to COVID, but we usually do have a quad witching around March as well. They're usually in March, September, December, and I believe January. Um, I think, excuse me, no, they are usually in June, March, September, and December. Those 4 months. Yes, that's what it usually is. As you can see here, in June, the quad witching happened 2 weeks later, we sold off. Here in September, quad witch was going to happen 2 weeks, we sold off. Here in March, you can't really do that because it was coronavirus. So, but I mean, we did sell off. But if you look back, even beforehand, if we go to December, 2 weeks before the quad witching in December, which is like around here, we sold off. It's a pretty small sell off, but it occurred. It happened again here in September again, right around here. We sold off here, and basically any major sell-off that we happen, you can kind of track it to a quad witching. And what I'm trying to get at is that after the quad witching, 2 weeks after it occurs, which is what we're going to enter into, we move higher. And I mean we move higher, 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 as indicated here. So what I'm thinking we're entering is the post quad witching um, you know, timeline is what I'm currently seeing. And if we can break out of this bottom trend line and potentially we could see all-time highs again around mid-October, maybe the end of October, early November possibly. But when we get to that stage, especially with the presidential election being in the beginning of November, I highly recommend sitting on cash as we really don't know what's going to happen in the election, as it looks like it's going to be a pretty close election. And if Biden ends up winning, obviously we know what's going to happen to the stock market. Um, that's just what most investors are thinking and looking at. It's just a potential fact that is set to arise. Um, and if we use the Fibonacci alligator method, which is what I am going to be using to just see basic support and resistance levels of the month, you can see we are above the 0.78 fib level, so we are testing this. So if we find support in this area, we could potentially gap up to this mid fib level, which is where I will draw a horizontal line right here, which is about the 331, 332 level, right around here. We'll gap up to this 331, 332 level, and then if we break above this, we'll see the 0.618 level, next mid fib, then so on and so forth, and they will keep going higher. And again, the bank stress test is set to come out soon. I think in the next week or two. A presidential election also set to come out in the next week or two. So be on the lookout for that. Increased volatility will occur. So be very careful in this market. I do think the underperformance of September is giving a lot of confidence to investors to buy. And as news of the presidential election and polling coming out more, if it's in favor of President Trump, I think more investors are going to be more confident with buying. And I think in October specifically, with stimulus talks, if that gets passed, we could potentially get up to maybe 350, maybe all-time highs again, uh, coming up to the election. But the higher we go, closer to the election, and with more polling coming out, it'll just become more volatile. So play it stock by stock. Every stock is going to be a bit different. As volume picks up too, uh, we could see us push above these barriers because we are testing this fib level right here, the 0.78. So if we can find support, we will definitely gap up to here and then so on and so forth. And this is a critical pivot point, and I mean absolutely critical. If we can find support here, it will, it will coincidentally give us a pivot and push us higher. But how high? Well, that will depend on the news, that will depend on the stress test, and that will depend on the presidential debates and going up to the election, and also the earnings reports. So play it safe, guys. Wait for the confirmations above this level. Thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure to join our Discord, Bearish Bulls. We send out a lot of great alerts. We're a great trading community as well. Please like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel for more great analysis and updates such as this. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.